for Monday, October 12th, 2020. This is the Pro and Con Show, and I am your host, Michael James Ott. As always, welcome to the show. So not too many shows to go here before I finish my personal commitment to do a bunch of these shows through the November 3rd election here in 2020. Again, the intent of the shows is my little attempt to spark some greater thought, some greater participation in this little experiment we call the United States of America, and in our governance. How are we going to do a better job going forward? And so I've been doing actually a series on this draft amendment to the Constitution, the citizen statesman concept. And so through 4 parts, and this is the 5th and final part of the statesman series here in the show. And in the last show, we talked about the kind of the final election and the president, the final person elected as president, basically picking from one of the 5 other people that had been screened up to that point as their vice president, basically to allow them to allow the public to have someone that they felt somewhat confident would be a good president, and then to have the president themselves have the opportunity to pick from at least a short list of people that the country was comfortable with, and they could feel like they were comfortable working with that person on a regular basis. So then the last part of the amendment talks about actual service to the government, okay? And so regardless of a lot of the amendment talks about getting better candidates in elected positions, but all members of the federal government, whether they're elected or appointed or hired by some official somewhere, they should all be serving in the best interests of the American public. And so the last section of the amendment specifically addresses this. So I'll read it, and then one of the major parts of it is this oath affirming that requirement, that responsibility. So here's the last section. All employees of the federal government, whether appointed or elected to their position in government, shall take the following oath in January of each year of service. I affirm and embrace the tenets of freedom, equality, and fairness, and the fiduciary duties incumbent upon me to serve the citizens of this nation founded upon these pillars. I shall serve and protect the people of the United States in totality against all enemies, foreign and domestic, to the best of my abilities. And from this day forward, I shall not accept gifts, employment, positions of authority, other forms of compensation, or other items of value from any source that could be perceived to influence my service to the people. When or where there is a conflict in interest, I will publicly declare any conflicts known to me and serve the people holistically over my own interests or the specialized interests of coalitions, groups, political parties, or industries tied to or associated with me. I acknowledge and embrace that service to the citizens of this country is both a solemn and noble commitment. My failure to sufficiently uphold the tenets of freedom, equality, and fairness, or to otherwise fail to serve the people with integrity and compassion, can be grounds for Congress or the Department of Justice representing the people to charge me with treason, the penalties for treason being harsh, including the penalty of death, if so ordered by a jury of my peers. And then the last section is about leaving government service. All employees of the federal government, whether appointed or elected to their position in government, shall receive a stipend after they leave their posts. Congress shall determine the stipend, a fraction of the employee's average annual salary during employment, by simple majority vote of both houses of Congress. The stipend shall be an annual payment that will last for the same number of years, months, and days as the employee's term of service in government. For employees with multiple government positions during their lifetimes, the former employee shall be limited to only one stipend benefit for those available of all past employments. Employees are not eligible for stipends from past government employments while currently employed by the government. So what does this mean? What is this last part? Well, the last part is just like in jury duty again, you basically take an oath that you're going to perform as an impartial jurist, that you're going to weigh the evidence as instructed by the court, and then provide your best opinion about the verdict, basically. And the same thing should go for if you are in government service in some way, shape, or form. You should affirm and embrace this fact that you are in government service. You are a government servant, no less and no more than a government servant. Now that's service. So a person that was in the military, and if you speak to the vast majority of people that were in the military, service is this thing, to the other people in this country. This is a thing that should be treated with honor and respect, both for the person providing the service and for the serviceman or woman who is providing this, actually in the service of the other people in this country. And I think, back during the days of the Vietnam War, we had kind of a failure in people separating this unpopular war from the fact that some very dedicated young men and women were, mostly men back in the day, were dedicating their lives, even in an unpopular war, in service of their country. And so, and it's important. It's important for people that are in the service of everyone else to understand that that's an important duty. It's a duty. And I use the word fiduciary. 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 Fiduciary means that, by definition, it means that the person with fiduciary responsibilities has to look out for the people that they are responsible for more than they look out for themselves. So, for example, if you have the power of attorney for somebody, a friend or family member, and it's whatever kind of power of attorney, let's say it's a financial power of attorney, you have a fiducial responsibility to that person that gave you that power of attorney to act in their best interests to the best of your ability. And so, let's say your parents are older and they've given you financial power of attorney. You can't go out and buy yourself a sports car or buy yourself a brand new house using their money. That's not appropriate, okay? You have to, fiduciary responsibility is that you are responsible to them. So that's their money. So, if you end up helping them figure out, some change in housing or whatever, well, it's your responsibility to help them figure out what's in their best interest and help them negotiate, a change in housing or maybe entrance into a long-term living facility or whatever. But all of it, the whole financial part of it is you doing what is in their best interest and not in your own. And this is exactly what these people and what we should be demanding of and expecting of and volunteering, frankly, to do for each other and ourselves in a citizen-statesman democracy. Okay, democracy 2.0, I call it. It's the upgraded democracy. So away from people who would be king and the two-party system and all of the agonism and horrible propaganda and everything that we currently have, into the next phase, which is citizens serving citizens. Citizens serving citizens, and the citizens being served, appreciating that these people are, devoting some portion of their lives to service. And so that means a mutual respect on both sides of that relationship. Just like we have now in the military, we have this mutual respect on both sides. The military, people in the military, a respect for, the service that they're offering the nation and the citizens of the nation, and, the parameters by which they do their work. And then the citizens of that nation respecting and appreciating that small percentage of the country that is providing that service, that is offering to go in harm's way to protect the rest of us from those harms. So citizen statesman, the 28th Amendment to the Constitution, it will resolve and solve so many of our problems. And I can't say enough about how wonderful life will become. And I encourage you to think this through. Okay, again, be a better citizen, but think about the way things are, the two-party system, and all of the, rhetoric and partisanship and all that other stuff. Step by step, replacing that with this other concept where we serve each other, regular citizens, admittedly screened and selected by us, the rest of the citizenry, to then serve in set times and places and positions, and then leave government service again and return back to being a normal citizen. If you really just will think about that, I don't know, sit around with your friends and relatives or whatever with a cup of coffee, talk about it, some other beverage, adult beverage or whatever. But if you think it through, if you just think about why that would be so much better, I think step by step, the more you think about it, the more you're going to think that that's a great idea. Okay? So for the Pro and Con Show, my name is Michael James Ott, and until the next show, bye for now.